But without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome you to this edition of Association Chat, which is your weekly online discussion for the association community, where we warm ourselves by the virtual fire with topics of the day, welcoming thought leaders and trailblazers alike to join up in this online home for the community. I'm your host, KiKi L'Italien. I'm the CEO of Amplified Growth Digital Marketing, and I've been the host of this weekly chat that's been around since 2009.
You've been doing this a while.
It's been a while.
Yes.
It's been a while. And so for this week's show, I'm coming to you live from CalSAE's Elevate conference. And I bring with me a guest. So Karl, I'm so happy that you are here, that you're willing to talk with us a little bit. I pulled him away from all of the, networking and great stuff that's going on here at CalSAE's conference. And Karl, that's a mouthful. So who are you with, and what is your role here with the conference?
Sure. So I am the Director of Meetings and Publications with the Osteopathic Physicians and Surgeons of California. Mm-hmm. So we are an organization that represents osteopathic physicians. If you go to the doctor, you'll see an MD behind some of their names. You'll see DO behind some of the others. Mm-hmm. The DO, those are the osteopathic physicians. Mm-hmm. Very similar to MDs, and legally they are the same. They practice all branches of medicine, but they also receive extra training on how to use their hands to diagnose and treat patients. So it's a very interesting group to work with. I really love it. But here at Elevate, my role this year is I am one of the co-chairs. Mm-hmm. So there are two of us. I have been primarily responsible for leading the team that came up with all the content. Which is what brings KiKi to our event. Then my co-chair, Laura Calderon, is with Tenaya Lodge in Yosemite, and she was responsible for leading the team that brought us all of what we call the sizzle. Which is all the fun activities that we get to do.
That's great.
Including things like our Zen Den.
I saw this. You guys, you know how it is when you get on like a Virgin aircraft and there's the lighting and the music, and it's just you are immediately put into, well, this feeling of Zen or loungy, kind of like you feel a little cooler than usual. In my case, I walked past this. I haven't even experienced it.
You need to go experience it.
Tell me more.
I haven't been to it this year, but I've been to it in the past. It is essentially a spot where you can escape from everything else. A lot of conferences are very packed. You have a lot of activities. It's very easy to burn out throughout the day. And I find the Zen Den is a great spot to go to just kind of relax, get away from things, clear my mind. I know some people will go and check emails and whatnot on their breaks. I like to go and just sit and kind of just clear my head.
Just be.
Sometimes they'll have massage therapists in there, so that's always a nice little bonus.
Oh, wow. I need to go in there when you have one
you
of
need
those.
to look at the schedule and see when you can get in there.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key elements that Elevate has that personally I've never experienced at any other event. And related to that is white space, which is not a new concept in meetings, but it's where you build in time into the program that is not scheduled.
Right.
There's no activities going on. It is a chance for you to go sit by the pool if you want. You can go back to your room. You can just sit, and usually I end up sitting down with colleagues and talking about what we've learned so far. So it's a good way to decompress a little bit.
I think that when I talk with people who are looking at reviews about conferences, a lot of times it is the participants, the attendees often come back and say that some of the most valuable time that they've had are in those hallway conversations. Yeah. And so what you're offering is this ability for those people to have those meaningful conversations.
Absolutely.
But then also, if somebody just needs to break away and sort of digest everything that they're hearing and learning, they can do that too.
It's a great opportunity for that. So you'd asked me earlier before we went on the air to kind of talk about a couple of sort of the key things for this year. One of the things that I'm particularly proud of this year is we didn't open with a traditional keynote. Mm-hmm. Usually a lot of conferences you go and your first speaker's your big keynote speaker.
Right.
They're going to pump you up. They're going to get you really excited about being there.
So you didn't do that.
And we didn't do that.
And why? What was
we wanted to do something different this year. And this was something that I pushed for pretty hard, and my thanks go out to CalSAE for allowing us to do the experiment. And what we did was essentially a TED Talk style opening. So for those of you that are not familiar with TED Talks, it's essentially a very short, for TED Talks, it's I believe 17 or 18 minutes, where a content expert gives you a quick story about whatever their topic is. It could be on sustainability, and they might be talking about the importance of food sustainability in the production, delivery, and so forth. And I also am a big fan of NPR's TED Talks that they do. I believe it's on Mondays, at least on my local station. Yeah. And they take snippets of the TED Talks, but then they go into more depth. And so what we wanted to do this year is have 4 of our workshop presenters give a TED Talk in the morning. And then right after that, we went into workshops taught by those 4 speakers. So everybody in our opening experience got a chance to hear a little bit about each one of their topic areas. And honestly, I started with, I'm going to go to this one particular one. And then I heard them talk, and I sat there for probably 5 minutes trying to figure out who I wanted to go to, because I had 2 that I really was interested in after hearing their talk.
So I know it's too soon, because you're halfway through the conference or not even, and probably too soon to say, like, what's the feedback you're hearing and how do you feel about some of these changes. But I mean, what's your gut reaction? Could you share that with me?
Actually, I've gotten a lot of very good feedback from folks. I'm hoping that they put it in evaluations so that CalSAE has that for future. Many people very happy with not doing a traditional keynote, and they really appreciated getting a preview of what they could expect from those first set of workshops. What I've found in talking to them is that they're usually, once they get here, they're good about figuring out what else they want to go to based on here. It's fun for them to decide on, and we made it a lot easier. Well, because they couldn't decide, there were too many things they wanted to learn. But a lot of them is what they wanted out of their first program, and so that has really been powerful with folks.
Have you, I don't know, inspired about plans for next year, or gotten any, I know that sometimes when you're going through a conference, it's like, ooh, you know what we should do next year? And you get those moments of inspiration then.
I have a lot of notes, which I will pass on to next year's co-chairs, since we only serve 1 year in this role. But as a co-chair this year, I will be on the planning committee for next year and will assist next year's co-chairs. And we do pass on our thoughts. So this is one that I'm definitely going to recommend that they consider keeping. There's a few other things in terms of the schedule, but no, I mean, so far I've gotten very good feedback, which as one of the people responsible, it makes me feel very good.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, does anyone have any questions for Karl right now while we have him on? Because I know there are a lot of you out there who create your own meetings, and a lot of people who are trying to figure out and solve this riddle of how do we bring in more attendees? How do we draw in the best content leaders? How do we provide the best kind of experience for the people who are attending? And so if any of you have any questions for Karl, go ahead and type those in. In the meantime, did you have any final words for the people who are tuning in today?
I do. I often tell folks that I'm the figurehead.
The figurehead,
yes. For the event. I'm the one up on stage that they associate with all the planning. But honestly, I could not do this without the just entire raft of volunteers that contribute their time. I feel like more of a manager sometimes with this, because we have a committee of probably 30 people that work on all of the content. They work on all of the extra events that go on. CalSAE staff is hugely supportive of everything that the volunteers do. And we could not do this event without all of the work that they put in. So I just want to make sure that they get appropriate credit for that. I can't name them all. I don't have time here.
Well, I could name one, because I think we have someone here who, if you have time to just say a few words.
and I will
All
step
right.
out of frame and let him sit in, and I'm happy to come back and answer questions if there's anything that you would like me to do. I'll hang around just in case.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kiki.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
the time.
I appreciate
and thank you, everybody online, for listening in.
Yes. All right. And so what are your questions? What are you thinking? How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling inspired? Look who's here.
Hey, we haven't even had a chance to say hi. Since you've been here.
I know.
It's great. Nice
How
to
have
see
you been?
I've been good.
All
Really
right.
good.
So, okay, Executive Director, CEO of CalSAE. Jim, how has everything been rolling this year? Like, what are your feelings about the conference as it's going so far? Yeah. And what are you hearing from people?
Yeah, well, you heard a little bit of what Karl already said. I think we really did take an innovative approach this time, and we worked really hard, especially on our opening keynote speakers. They were really like 4 mini keynotes.
Yeah.
They're at that level. And so I've gotten nothing but rave reviews. I had at least a half a dozen people say they're going to try to repeat that for their organization.
Wow.
I even had the speaker said they loved doing something because it was done in a round. And we did special seating all across throughout. So the speakers really enjoyed it too. So.
Did you get it recorded, or is this like you had to be there?
Did we get this recorded? Yeah, you had to be there.
You had to be there.
Yes.
So,
but we are working on a collaborative partnership, so we might be doing that next year.
That's excellent.
And that really seems like it'd be a good opportunity to do that.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's how the first day started off. Then we broke out into our sessions, and then we did an offsite over at the Hyatt in Newport Beach, and they did a fantastic job. They had some entertainment. The food was amazing.
Yeah.
So all in all, it was a really successful day.
So for everything that's coming up, what should people who are tuning in now or later, what are the highlights for the rest of the conference? Like, you're about halfway through.
Yeah.
And you still have some really good stuff coming up. In fact, I'm going to speak here, so it's going to be really good.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I mean, today mostly one of the things we try to do is really very consciously blend good content. And so one of the things we do is we have staggered sessions. So you can go to an hour session. We have a deep dive that's 3 hours. You can really kind of pick the kind of content. We really encourage people to move about. So if a session's not hitting what you need, then move to another session, the law of 2 feet. The other thing we do a lot of is, you heard a little bit about the Zen Den, was building in time for people just to decompress, because there's so much learning that goes on, and spend time being able to network and doing it informally. So we don't do 15-minute breaks anymore. So you're hurrying from one to the other. You can barely get a cup of coffee.
That
so
was
they're all
always so
30-minute
stressful
breaks.
for me.
You heard Karl talking about the white space. So we have early morning activities where you can go on a nature hike with people. We set those things up, or early in the evening. And so all of that is built into the conference, so people can really pick and choose what their experience is.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Of course,
and I am so
pleasure.
excited. Now, he has to run off because, he has this whole thing
We have
to
our volunteer
lead. There's this
recognition
volunteer
luncheon that's going on
recognition
right now.
luncheon. And as you
Installing
know,
our new board, so I probably need to be there.
yeah, I know. That's kind of important. That whole
Yes.
board thing, Thank you so much for
I hope we
talking
have a
with
chance
me.
to chat later. So
I
great.
hope
Thank
so
you so
too.
much for coming.
Of course.
All right.
Yes,
Talk to you later.
definitely. Bye-bye. All right. So you heard it here first. I am telling you, they are doing a phenomenal job here, and I can't wait to go explore more and to find out more about what is happening here at CalSAE's Elevate Conference. There are so many great content leaders whom I know. There are so many whom I don't know. And so there really is content that I am wanting to check out, and having a difficult time figuring out how I'm going to fit that into what I need to do and still provide content myself. So there you go. There's a challenge right there. At this point, I want to remember that we have a fantastic silver sponsor, and I want to thank that sponsor. And you may have heard of them before, but that would be Fontiva. Fontiva is Association Chat's fabulous silver sponsor. They aim to develop flexible, easy-to-use software tools to help transform your business and your association. Fontiva's member nation makes managing and growing your organization easier than ever before. Be sure to connect with Fontiva on Twitter at Fontiva Inc., and tell them that you love us and tell us your favorite thing about Association Chat. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. All right, so this is a very short association chat this week, mostly because I want to make sure that I had a chance to participate in CalSAE's Elevate conference, but also because there is so much importance with recognizing volunteer leaders. And so when I found out that they were having their volunteer recognition luncheon, there was absolutely no way I could compete with that. So Karl, do you have any, I see Karl over here on this side. Do you have any last words, any creative words of inspiration? I'm putting him on the spot. You don't have to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job. And everyone, I hope that you have learned a little bit about some of the special things that CalSAE is doing with their Elevate conference. And you might even get inspired to change some of your conference or events coming up based on some of the things that you've heard here. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for Association Chat today. I want to thank Karl and Richard and everyone at CalSAE so much for participating and answering questions and sitting with us and sharing all of this great insight about what's happening with their conference this year. I think we're all going to want to think a little bit more about how we create our events and create our attendee experiences. And with that, I wish you very well for the upcoming week. Watch out for Association Chat on iTunes and on Google Play and on Stitcher. And you will be able to check out the replay of this and more on YouTube's channel later. So that's it. What did you think? Did you have a good time? Give us some love on social media and see you next time.